Hi, I'm Marc Iskowitz, Executive Editor at Medical Marketing and Media Magazine, and I'm here with Bryon Main, your Principal and Founder at ExL Pharma. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, Mark. It's great to be here today.
ExL plays a vital role in helping us all keep track of this ever-changing industry. What are some of the key themes running through this year's program?
So when organizing the event, we pretty much take a step back and do a very in-depth research process to really figure out what the temperature is of the market and really what are the current themes that we see going on, not just within each particular organization, but kind of across every single company out there. And there's a few buzzwords I think that we really heard a lot more of this year compared to prior years. And mobile, first and foremost, everyone is talking about mobile, trying to figure out how to use mobile and how it could really benefit their organizations, both as far as communicating with patients directly, as well as with physicians, and how their sales forces can be using mobile devices to really get past all the traps that are in the doctor's office that they commonly face when visiting.
Bryon, were you cognizant of the need to do something a little bit different in your presentation this year, or are you comfortable with the industry still getting information in the same trends, areas, and examples as you've done before?
It's an interesting question because when you're doing a program, you're in your 6th year doing the conference, it can be tough on the organizer to really bring new content to the table, especially in the pharmaceutical industry where things could move fairly slow. I think with this particular topic, it lends itself to things changing. It's a very dynamic area, social media, mobile, anything digital, very dynamic. And the companies have had to adapt to it pretty quickly. 6 years ago, there wasn't really too much going on within the pharmaceutical industry as far as social media, digital, mobile technologies. So with this program, I think the topic of the event has really helped us to change the program up and add new items to the agenda every year. And it really ties a lot back to what's been going on at these companies, the case studies, and the different results that the pharma companies are seeing from some of these studies that they've been doing, some of these campaigns that they've been doing. So it helps make our jobs as organizers a little bit easier because it is a fast-paced area and it's changing a lot. As far as the conference as well, just some of the other features that go on at the conference. There's sometimes, in a lot of cases, more experience and stories and ROIs, examples in the audience. So finding ways through the design of this program to engage that and have a really back and forth conversation between the speakers and the attendees has been something that we're highly focused on.
Is it fair to say that the pharma industry has fully embraced the digital realm, or are they still sort of mid-curve and they have a ways to go, to climb? And where are the big opportunities and drivers, and what are the hurdles?
Yeah, I think I'd like to say and feel confident in saying that they have fully embraced it. Even though there are limitations to what they can do with some of these tools, I think we've really seen some big strides that these companies have made. And instead of just being one piece of the marketing mix, a smaller piece for a long period of time, I think digital tools, social, mobile, have really earned their place within the multi-channel mix within pharmaceutical companies. And rather than just being spoken about as something that we should be getting into, we should be doing, looking and admiring what other industries have done with these tools, they're really embraced it and they're in it. And I think as long as they stay aware of what the limitations and kind of take a little bit of a common sense approach to what some of those limitations, just based off of the lack of guidance being provided by the regulators. But I think it's an exciting thing, and I think all their customers are using these tools, so pharma needs to be there, and we've really seen some big strides over the past few years.
What are the hurdles?
Well, regulatory is the obvious hurdle that's thrown out there, and it's the lack of guidance, I think. Pharma companies really rely on information from the FDA to make decisions on what they can do internally. And without that guidance, it does make it a little bit of a difficult scenario internal at these pharma companies when you're in a room and you're pretty much pitching a great idea, a great program, an adherence program on how you can better get your product to be used by patients. And you're facing a roadblock because there's not information given from the regulators on whether or not this is something that would be acceptable according to what they think. But there are certain companies that are still pushing forward with it, and I have a lot of admiration for some of those companies. A lot of them are speaking at this program over the next few days. So that is the big hurdle.
The industry continues to be buffeted by a perfect storm, if you will, of events, circumstances, and forces. We have the patent cliff, we've got regulatory scrutiny, the economic downturn, dwindling pipelines, patient empowerment, digital evolution, healthcare reform, and the list goes on.
Absolutely.
What do you see happening over the next few years, and what will be the role of digital?
So if I were to bring out my crystal ball, I don't even know if that would be able to provide the answer to that question. There's a lot of challenges that are currently going on. We have a big election which is coming up soon, and I think based off of the turnout of that election, we're going to see some different things for healthcare over the next few years. If Obamacare does stay in place, I think pharma companies and working with government will play a much bigger role than it has recently. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that comes out. Some of the other factors that you've mentioned within there, and I think one of the bigger ones is mergers and acquisitions with going on in the industry and the consolidation of a lot of these companies. And to see if that trend continues for the industry will have a big impact, I think, on the way things are done within this industry. I also think that the growth of biologics is another big trend. It's no longer just popping pills anymore, which is a very simple, easy thing that patients can do. But you're seeing a larger number of patients out there that are relying on medications to be delivered through the care of a physician. So that kind of changes the healthcare system as well, patient adherence as well, and just the way that patients access medicine. So in short, there's a lot of components to that question. We've had a lot of people speaking at our conferences recently with ideas and thoughts on what's going to be coming in the next 3 to 5 years in the pharma industry. I don't have that answer, but like you, I definitely look forward to seeing what's coming, but I think either way, whatever happens in this election, I am excited by the innovation that is being embraced by this industry, and I do see good things coming either way for what comes for healthcare in the future.
We've certainly put together a very smart group of speakers, and it's always refreshing to hear from smart people like yourself to predict what's going on, and the need for training and education continues. So, nice job.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure meeting you, Bryon, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Pleasure meeting you as well. I appreciate the time today. Thank you.
Sure, my pleasure. And for those of you who missed this year's, there's always DigiPharma East next year.